And we are live. It's the Dave K Show coming at you once again from the beautiful banks of False River and beautiful historic New Rose, Louisiana. And once again, we are on the third floor of the beautiful and historic Julian Pardris Arts Museum Center. And so glad to be with you guys later on today. We're going to have a great guest coming up who I think you're going to really, really enjoy. She's going to be guest hosting today for Adatha Bure, who's out right now, kind of under the weather. So also she's going to be not only guest hosting our show co-hosting our show with us today, but also talking about some really interesting topics today and kind of what she's into, singer-songwriter. We love our musical guests and everything. Before we get started, though, I want to put a point of reference into pointcapereporter.com. So they've been so gracious to help cross-promote us in all of our YouTube channels and everything, and also the Point Cape banner. Go pick yourself up a copy of the Point Cape banner whenever you get a chance. You'll find out a lot of great news and happenings going around in the Point Cape Parish area. And I must say, I'm really proud to say that we are in the Point Cape banner this week. So pick your copy up today and go check it out. So Dathan and I have a great article about Lieutenant Ken Alvarez with the West Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office, who, along with others, saved this lady's life off the Mississippi River Bridge. Historic and heroic efforts that they made for sure. So I'm so proud of them and the team of West Baton Rouge deputies and Baton Rouge, City of Baton Rouge, and a bunch of other people. Katie and Ambulance did a great job. Those are the kind of things you can see in the Point Cape banner, so that you won't see anywhere else but the Dave K Show. So we have a great show lined up today. I'm thankful that everybody that is watching the show. What I want you guys to do out there is to like and share our videos on YouTube. That's the best way that you can help support us and promote us, is to like and share our YouTube videos. Check us out on Instagram, Dave K Show. Check us out on Facebook, Dave K Show. And like all those videos, share them, get them out there, get the words out. We got a lot of great guests and everything. So I got a very special guest in the studio today, and she is from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and just a up-and-coming girl who's really making some waves in the music scene right now. And she's going to be also on the show tomorrow with another good friend, Zach Hartman. Zach Hartman,
yes,
right?
Zach Hartman.
Zach Hartman's going to be here tomorrow singing their songs. Now we're going to be talking. They're going to be singing tomorrow, which is going to be really cool. Guitar in hand, entertainment. It is going to be amazing. So, she, a singer-songwriter, psychology.
Big background.
Big background
went
psychology.
To school for
X-ray. Hang on a second. I'm going to introduce you in a second. She's jumping the gun, which I love that. I love that. So, X-ray technology school right now. Great history, great story behind her. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Miss Kacie Fry.
Thank you so much, David.
How you doing?
Doing good. I got off my shift from the hospital today and came right over. Saw me in my scrubs.
Right.
I'm a nomad of sorts right now, so I'm a bag lady, as my
well,
grandma likes to call me.
You must be the most beautiful X-ray student in the history of mankind.
I don't know. You should see some of my friends. They've definitely got me a little bit.
Right.
They've got some beautiful people in my class for sure.
Yes, definitely. Well, that sounds great. So we're glad to have you here, singer-songwriter from Baton Rouge.
Yes.
So you, like I said, you got a great voice.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yes, I love all of your songs that you're coming out with. You're collaborating with Zach and everything. So tell a little bit about yourself for the people that don't know you, pretty much.
Let's see. To make a long story short,
Right.
basically born and raised in Baton Rouge. I decided to go to college out of state in South Carolina. They gave me a nice scholarship. I wanted to try something new. Did that. Actually had a house fire my senior year, the Black Friday that Katrina hit. And we had to start all over, and I really wanted to feel at home, so I decided to move back home.
2005, about
2005. That was 2005.
Yes.
Graduated 2006, magna cum laude.
Congrats.
Didn't do much for me, but hey, it worked.
Right.
It has this piece of paper.
Right.
Did that and ended up waiting tables at a country club in Baton Rouge. Ended up having to have some very severe knee surgeries to reconstruct the angles of my legs, so my kneecaps wouldn't pop out of place.
Right. So what do you attribute to your knees going out? What happened there?
It was actually it's a patellofemoral joint disorder, common in females between 16 and 25, and essentially their angles they're kind of knock-kneed and their hips are pretty wide, and it just sort of forces the patella out of place and knocks it out.
Interesting.
And it can happen repetitively, just a couple times. It's actually can be linked to what I have. It's called hypermobility, where your ligaments are extra stretchy, that kind of thing. No real problems except for structural things. So I've got all sorts of
Right.
joint stuff. But other than that, just a mild inconvenience whenever,
Sure.
except, getting your legs cut in half. But
Exactly, right. Exactly. Nothing to it. Yeah. Just a thing.
But
Well, yeah, that sounds great. So,
did that, learned
yes.
how to walk again twice, and then went back to grad school for psychology, for actually professional counseling at Loyola. Loved it. Was wonderful.
Yes.
Was really thought it was going to be my
Understanding the human brain.
path. It is fascinating.
Yes.
And how they teach is just absolutely wonderful, to be in the moment, and to really be with your patient and client. I wasn't the social worker telling, oh, go here and go there. Our job was to listen and to
Yes.
be. So I really liked that part of it.
Wow. And the stories you've heard.
If
these walls could talk.
If only. Did that. Then had some family stuff happened. I had to take a little break, as we all do sometimes. Did that. Took an even bigger break. Had actually lost a dear cousin of mine to a brain tumor.
Oh, sorry
She
to
was
hear that.
Thank you.
Yes.
She was a beautiful artist. Her name was Camille.
Yes.
And when she passed, I had always thought about singing, kind of practiced it on the side, fiddled around, never really did anything with it, took some voice lessons. And I thought, okay, what am I doing? She was a beautiful artist, died at 16. What am I doing? I got to at least try.
Right.
I knew I was not getting any younger, so
Yep.
I decided to go out for this talent showcase I found online. Went there 3 times. I'd come back actually as a guest, and finally the producer I really wanted to work with decided. He sat me down and he said, are you ready for this to be your life? And I said, yeah. And he said, okay, well, you're my client now, so
Wow.
let's start working together. So it kind of has been a snowball, a very slow process. My father died 2 years ago this October, so that kind of put a little hit
sorry
in
to hear that.
things. Thank you.
Yes.
But he is in a better place, so that's all that matters.
Yes.
But since then, it's just kind of been, like I said, I've been working at it, just the tortoise, just keep going. And
Right.
surely enough, if you do something long enough, people will see it and respond,
Right.
hopefully. And I'm all about good people and good vibes, and I want to
Yes.
throw that out there. So just doing what I can.
Absolutely. We talked about it earlier before the show. Timing is everything. Sometimes you
It
got to wait
is.
for the right timing in your life. No matter how hard you try, things just don't happen until their timing, right?
So true. And you can't control it, no matter what you do.
But when it happens, though, it's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's truly amazing. And you
Yes.
see, it's almost like you feel it. Like the doors open up and it feels natural and things are happening and you have good luck and you're like, what's going on?
Yes, exactly right. So the viewers out there need to know that too, right? So they may
Yes.
be in a maybe they seem like you're in a stuck situation right now. Talk to the viewers about that.
The best thing I can tell you, and I'll get real. I can get real quick,
Yes,
so I'll do
please
it.
do.
I have suffered from depression, anxiety my entire life. There has been times where I have not wanted to get out of bed, times where I have not gotten out of bed, times where I have not gone to work, times where I've let opportunities slip through my fingers. And everyone has those times.
Yes.
Absolutely everyone. The people who don't talk about it, they have them too.
Yes, they do.
Everybody does, and you just have to keep the biggest compliment I think my father ever gave me, and this is a man who had 28 surgeries over 15 spinal. So he had been through some stuff.
Right.
And he said, I'm most proud of you for never giving up. No matter how
amazing.
many times you fall, and you do fall, you get back up and you try.
Yes.
And that meant the world to me more than anything. And if you just do what is true to yourself and keep it true to yourself and who you are, and don't let all of the fog and all the negativity, and there is going to be a lot of negativity when you try to change and do something that only you want to do. And you'll hear it from people sometimes who you thought would be supportive. You have to really adjust your thinking and accept that, one of the best things I ever did in my life was to do music and have that mindset of, I don't care what you think,
Yes.
and you have to really just be okay with yourself, flaws and all, and it's freeing, and it's really nice when you get there, but it is hard. And it's the hardest part, my favorite metaphor is when a butterfly is in a cocoon and people think, oh, it goes into this pretty caterpillar and it goes into its casing and it just comes out. Well, yeah, but in the middle of that, it's a mess of crap in there.
Right.
It is
Right.
going through some stuff.
Yes,
like
it is.
diamonds are created out of pressure and coal, and you have to, things come out of hard situations. So
Yes.
just remember that if you're there, it's because you're only one step closer to getting where you want to be.
That's amazing. I love it. Never give up, right?
Ever.
That's great because the reward and the prize at the end is always worth it. Always.
Always, even
it
if
is.
it's nothing that you can touch or feel, it's you knowing that you did something that meant something to you, that helped, even if it's buying a bottle of water for a guy at the gas station,
Yes.
doing something nice. You did something that day. Whatever it
Absolutely.
is, stay true to yourself. Do the good things. Be grateful is another thing. It's really easy to get negative. The first thing I do when I wake up is I thank God for all my blessings, no matter what they are, no matter how bad things are. Thank you for what I do have. And then I pray for the strength and the patience to get through the day. And sometimes you have to take it hour by hour and minute by minute, and that's okay too.
Absolutely.
I keep mine list to a list of 3 things I got to do. And that way I never get overwhelmed. Little trick for me.
That's great.
So.
That is awesome. Our hat's off to you. You're doing a great job out there. I truly think the best is yet to come.
Yes, I agree with all things, hopefully.
Yes. Oh, I believe I know for a fact, for sure. Can't wait to see what's in store for you for the future, for sure. It's going to be great.
Thank you so much.
And you and I are going to be collaborating on some stuff coming up, right?
Yes, we are. I'm so excited.
And so for the people that are watching, so Kacie and I just got together, hooked up, professional-wise, of course. right, about maybe right, exactly. A couple of weeks ago through Zach, so Zach and you and Zach have collaborated a lot lately.
Yep,
Tell us a little bit about Zach and how you and who he is.
Yeah, I've known Zach for I think it was about 8 years now. We met. I was bartending. He was a liquor promoter at the time. We just always kept in touch. I knew he was a musician. He knew I was still a musician and singing and everything. And about 8 weeks ago, maybe, he contacted me and said, "Hey, I have this project I want to do. I want to start doing covers every month of something really recent, really in the now and kind of make it ours." And I said, "Okay, yeah, definitely, sure." And I had just spoken to my producer, had just started talking about the next steps for what I want to do. And he said, "I want you to go to YouTube and watch Yubba." I said, "Okay, I'm watching Yubba. I'm watching My Mind. I'm feeling very insecure, thinking I have a lot of work to do." And then I get this phone call from Zach a couple weeks later. And he says, I said, "Okay, well, how do you find your music?" He says, "Well, just go to new releases." I go to our new releases. Within the first 5 songs, it's an Ed Sheeran Yubba cover. I think this must be a sign.
Right.
So I throw the idea at him. Within 5 minutes, he's like, "I love it. Let's do it." And then we, within 2 days, recorded 3 songs. One is the acoustic version of The Best Part of Me. It's an Ed Sheeran and Yubba cover. What people don't know, it's kind of fun about it, is it's actually the same melody that is of Lego House, the very first big release that Ed Sheeran had. It's the same melody, so you're able to mash it up and kind of give it a nice little twist. So hopefully, I think people will appreciate that.
Right.
Kind of back to the roots sort of thing. We did our own little take on it, did a little funny spin where I'm obsessed with Ed Sheeran. Went extremely well considering we had almost no budget.
Right, yes.
But lots of great, wonderful friends.
How can people see that video?
Oh, they can go to YouTube. Just look up The Best of Me, Kacie, or you can actually go to Zachary Lee. That is the video channel that it's on right now. That's ZACHARYLEE. Zachary Lee. I'll be having my own songs posted up there shortly, but everything's collaborated on that one video right now and on that channel.
Right. And like and subscribe that channel.
Yes,
right?
Please like and subscribe. That, like he said, and comments. We love comments. We respond to comments. We feed off of your feedback.
Suggestions
so by all
too, right?
means, yes, we want suggestions. We want to know what you want. We want to know what's up. We want to know what you want to hear. We have a really exciting cover of Old Town Road we just filmed at a real horse ranch. We have real Porsches, real diamonds, the whole deal. It's really exciting. And we actually have another version of that one coming out, a rock version. We're actually working with a Porsche dealer, getting a lot of stuff, making it legit.
Right. I heard the song today. It's amazing. You guys are going to like it.
We're very, very excited.
I like it. Yes, that's great. So yeah, Zach is he's a go getter too, isn't he?
Yeah, I swear, between you and him, I don't think my phone stops every 2 hours, but it's great. I'm just like, okay, what is it now?
Right.
But it's fun. It's always something to talk about, always something to do.
Yes, indeed, that is great. So I cannot wait to hear the music y'all got prepared for us for tomorrow.
Awesome.
It's gonna be a great show and everything. We kind of jumped the gun a little bit because I wanted to talk about our takeoff role and everything. So. Your name is Miss Kacie Fry on
Well,
social
I decided
media.
professionally, I decided to go with Miss Kacie Fry. As I'll be introduced, that's probably what I'll be introduced as. I was advised to keep my name, which I have no pride, like my name.
Right.
So I'm going to keep my name, and I just decided professionally to keep, my personal Kacie Fry and go with Miss for the others, which kind of leads us into our next little segment.
Exactly. So we want to talk about, this is South Louisiana, so we're sometimes prim and proper, sometimes we're a little more than the northern part of the country and other parts of the world, of course. So and so what I want to talk about today is the salutations that we generally address men and women by, I guess particularly in South Louisiana. What's our etiquette? What is our way of doing things around here, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a decent person out there, and I think most of you are, you want to treat people with respect, especially whenever you introduce yourself to them. You don't know who they are. You want to you expect other people to be nice people like you are, so you give them respect, no questions asked, till they prove otherwise, right?
Exactly. This is sort of that verbal contract of like, okay, the respect is there.
Exactly.
So it is important.
Till you cut I'm going to respect you till you prove otherwise, right?
Exactly.
So, and what better way to respect people than to address them by a respectful name, right?
Yeah, respectful title for whatever they are, whatever it is.
So,
exactly.
I saw the term Ms. the other day, which I had some connotations about it that really wasn't correct till I went and looked up on the internet as far as what's the proper connotation. So we have, as far as women go, men are easy, Mr. or Sir, right?
Right, Mr. or Sir.
You can never go wrong by calling a man Mr. or Sir.
Right, but you should always call a doctor a doctor. I've
learned
that.
Yes, that's true. That's right, doctor, yes.
Yes.
Yep. Is that a PhD or MD, or how does that go?
I think it's more for MDs, but I mean, if I got a PhD, I'd want to be called
Absolutely.
doctor.
You
Why
paid
not?
for it.
You earned it.
Yes, you did. You worked for
Why
it.
not?
You sure did. Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, the respect is there. He's probably got a whole lot of student loans he's got to pay back.
Oh, I would imagine so.
Right. So, so on the women's side, we're a little bit more, a little technical.
It's a little trickier.
It's
a little trickier. It's a little messier. It's like little landmines. You're not really sure what to do.
Yes.
I personally don't mind miss.
I like that analogy, because what happens if you step on a landmine?
Oh, you're going to blow to the other side of the wall and wish you never stepped foot.
Right. So what are the
my
salutations?
understanding is you have Miss for an unmarried woman.
Okay.
You've got
MISS.
MISS for an unmarried woman. Ms. is either or. They may be widowed. They
how's it spelled?
With MS period. The period is important.
Yes.
Without the R. And that's kind of a vague, like if it's an easy way to just say I choose not to answer, I think is the polite way of saying that. And Mrs. obviously would be married. Mm-hmm. An interesting one that I struggle with sometimes is ma'am, because while it is the Southern thing, and we discuss it all a military thing, so it is definitely a respect thing, and I think that's why it's more popular here than it is in the North. And while of course, I mean, ma'am is so sweet, but you know, as you get older, you don't want to hear, yes, ma'am, what can I get you to drink?
Right, exactly, yes.
So while it's endearing, it's a little stab in the heart sometimes. So just an FYI, guys, if you're not sure, it's totally okay not to call a girl that you're going for ma'am.
Yes, thank you. I like that. That's right. For most people anyway,
yes.
right? It depends on your upbringing and everything.
If you're not sure, just go with, well, hello, little miss, or something like that, and then you'll get into your conversation.
Yes, that's great. That's great. So what we did, of course, we looked on we found a very good reputable website, so we're going to go over that right now. I'm going to let you kind of take us from the top.
Okay,
let's start off.
Here.
This is what's the website? ESFcafe.com. So this is a lot of really good information on here. So let's take it from the top, Kacie.
All right.
What do we got
here?
So
the first one are titles for women: Miss, Ms., and Ma'am. It says use Miss with a complete name when you address a card, letter, etc. to a young girl. So Miss Shannon Sperling, Miss Teresita De Leon, Miss Tammy Kim. I'm going to call myself a young girl, so I'm going to still stick with Miss Kacie Fry. They don't define young.
Yes,
so.
right. Young at heart. That's right. Go scroll down, Tim.
All right. Next, we also have, you can also use Miss with a complete name when you address a card, letter, etc. to a young unmarried woman. Same deal. Miss Nancy Krafsek, Miss Terry, I love these names, Miss Terry O'Sullivan, Miss Lana Silvestri.
Wow. Okay.
They got really creative.
That's
I like
not from
this.
South Louisiana for sure. They have Boudreaux and Thibodeau in
It
there.
would be like all Chapatulas and...
Right.
All right.
Keep going, Tim.
All right. 3, or a young unmarried woman is, however, difficult to define.
Right.
Exactly. And this is a problem. Oh, there's a mouthful there.
Right.
If a woman is young but old enough to be married, she might not want to call attention to her unmarried status. This is even more true if a woman isn't really young but is not married. In this situation, Miss isn't the best choice.
Right.
Well,
interesting.
I respect that opinion, but I'm going to disagree with it.
Yes. That's what this is, an opinion. Nothing set in stone.
Exactly. Let's see. Okay, number 4. Some women say incorrectly that if Mr. can be used for both married and unmarried men, there should be a similar title for women, which actually I do very much agree with. That title can be used for both unmarried and married women is Ms. Okay. I feel kind of guilty. I didn't think about that with the femininity thing. Let's see. Or when a marital status or single or married isn't important, or the marital status is unknown.
So Ms. Okay. What they're saying right here is this is the safe route to go.
Safe. Super safe. You can't go wrong with Ms.
Interesting.
Ms.
Okay.
But if you're trying to hit on a girl, don't call her Ms.
Right. Exactly. Because it could be either or. Right.
Right. Okay.
Right.
And let's see. Miss is sometimes also used without a name when speaking to female service workers. Very, very common. Excuse me, miss. Could you help me, miss? Thank you, miss. I actually prefer that much more over ma'am. I was a server and a bartender. I liked that much more.
Let me stop you there because let's go back into your bartending days
Sure.
and everything because it seems to me etiquette goes out the water in the bartending situation. Or how
Yes
does that
and
work?
no. Depends on how drunk they are.
Okay, right. Or it starts.
Which can actually help the politeness because they want to get, they're either so afraid of being rude that they're overly polite, or they just don't care at all and don't even know where they are, so they don't even know what they're doing. But I would definitely respond better to "excuse me, miss" for "excuse me, ma'am."
Right, exactly.
Just the sounds alone.
Right, exactly.
And it's just nicer.
Yes, it is.
All right. If the service worker is your age or younger than you, miss is probably acceptable. If the worker is older than you, miss is probably not acceptable. Use ma'am instead. Use it without a name. I personally think that women in the South would still like to be called miss, even if they are servers and they're older than you. Again, that's just like we're not going to draw attention to the fact that you're older than me. Very simple.
Right, sure.
I beg your pardon, ma'am. That's a pretty... okay.
Right.
Could you help me, ma'am? I appreciate your help, ma'am. I just imagine an old lady, I guess.
Right. And the interesting thing about all this right here is, we talked about generations earlier too, how things kind of come and go and fade. I mean, is this even going to be accurate in the next 30, 40 years? You know what I'm saying?
Well, with these, I won't use the word. I don't like it. But with these, the way that the B word has come to be a word of endearment drives me absolutely crazy.
Right.
Women are not dogs.
Thank you.
Very simple.
Right.
Dogs bark. They go outside. They don't sleep in the bed.
That's right.
Women are women.
Thank you.
It's very simple.
Thank you.
We can be witches.
Yes.
That's totally fair. We can be crazy.
Yes.
But don't call us a dog. We're not animals. That's all I ask.
Yep. Very, very good words of advice. I agree with that.
Let's see. Number 6. You should also use ma'am when you are speaking to a woman who's older than you or to a woman who has position of authority. Yes. Or when you don't know
You're talking about the military,
name.
right? Remember?
Even if it's nothing. Even if it's, teacher, I don't even know. Definitely policewoman, something like that. Ma'am. Absolutely.
Right.
If you're not sure if they even look like they're from the military, ma'am. Out of just general respect. You're not going to hurt somebody's feelings. You wouldn't hurt my feelings if you call me ma'am. Out of respect, that's a whole different ballgame.
Right.
Let's see. Notice that ma'am does not have a capital M, but both miss and ms
Never thought
do.
about that. Interesting.
Probably because they're addressing a specific person and the ma'am is not, which I would assume. Okay, so let's see.
All right, so here's our titles for women, Mrs. and Ms. coming up here. All right, scroll, Tim.
All right.
So here we go.
In general, Mrs. is used for married women. If a man introduces his wife to you, if the woman is younger than you, and if the man tells you his wife's name, only the name is usually acceptable. This is my wife, Lucy. It's a pleasure to meet you, Lucy. If a man introduces his wife to you, and if the woman is older than you, use Mrs. and the husband's surname. This is my wife, Lucy. It is a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Kim.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. So how are you supposed to, I guess if they look older than you, I guess you could say, right? How do you know if they're older than you?
I guess. But to me, I've always been taught to use whatever terms are used back to me to reflect that. So it would be strange for me to say Mrs. Yin whenever he just called her Lucy. I'd be like, okay, Lucy, that's me. I mean, there's all sorts of different cultural boundaries and things I don't know about.
Right, it's a fluid situation. So right here it says if you're speaking to or referring to a woman and you know the woman's surname, use Ms. And the surname, if the surname, the woman has a position of authority, you don't know the woman's marital status or see the woman is your age or older than you. I have an appointment with Ms. Ikigami. Ms. Jensen is a district manager.
Basically, if you don't know, safe bet.
Here's another good one here. So going down to number 4, if a woman is divorced, she might continue to use her ex-husband's name. That does happen a lot.
Yeah.
Or she might use her unmarried name. If she continues to use her ex-husband's name, Mrs. plus that name is possible, but Ms. plus that name is probably safer. And that's what we want to do. We want to be safe, right?
Yes.
In this day and age of political correctness, we want to be safe.
Yes.
So Jill Burton married Phil Thomas. They got a divorce. It's safer to refer to Jill now as Ms. Thomas if she still uses the ex-husband's name. It's also good to use Ms. if she decides to use the name Burton again. So once again, remember, Ms. was married or unmarried if you're not sure.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That gray area.
Okay, so if a woman uses her husband's name and she's a widow, that is, her husband is dead, there are several possibilities. Okay, so it goes all. This is just too complicated. Wow.
You know what's really interesting to me is that they're not showing Mrs. Mann's full name. Because remember how it used to be, they didn't even get a full name.
Oh,
it was
that's
their
right,
first name.
yeah.
It used to be Mr.
Yeah.
John Smith or
Right.
Mrs. John Smith.
That's true.
This is not even on there. I like that. I'm just going to point that out. We've made
those are the
some
things that-
progress, ladies.
Yes, that's what it is. Yes, over time. That's right. That is right.
I like
So
that.
yeah, like you said, the woman's name is completely obliterated out of the description.
Absolutely.
Wow, interesting. Interesting. And this is another thing I find pretty interesting too, is like putting myself in a woman's position. If I was married and I got a divorce, carrying my ex-husband's last name around would seem like very awkward.
Yeah, and just like why would you want that reminder every time you
Right.
sign anything? Every time you look at your office little cubby or whatever,
Yes,
you know, it's
right.
your name. Like I don't know. I'm the older I get, the more I think I'm never going to change my name.
Right. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Maybe it's a deal because it's difficult. You got to go through the proper legal things.
It is.
you
I've had
know?
some friends have a lot of trouble with that, especially if it's a hyphenation. Oh, it's a nightmare with the Social
Oh,
Security
man.
office. Like they've had issues and passport issues and legal issues just from wanting to have their name a certain way.
I can see where that'd be a problem.
So-
I see a lot of people that take their maiden name dash, like you said, their married name. I think it's a lot of times that I've had a lot of friends that become doctors. They're so proud of becoming a doctor. They want to have their last name in there and
Yes.
say, look at what I did, you know.
Exactly.
/ my husband's last name.
Right.
Or maybe just kind of say, hey, look, I'm proud of what I've accomplished or whatever. I'm going to put my name. Now, I notice a lot of the Oriental and Asian people have dashes on their names, if you notice.
Yes. they've been
Or
doing-
maybe, I don't know about Mexicans, maybe. But
I think
know-
in the Latin American country, I think they also have a lot more names involved. Like I know they have some can have 2 middle names and family names and things that go down like that. So maybe in something along
Right.
the lines of that as well. I'm not 100% sure on those
Right.
customs.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Okay, so let's scroll down, Timmy. Go all the way down. Keep on going. So yeah, it just goes into like great detail right here. So what's the takeaway note at the bottom
Let's
down
see.
here?
If a woman has another title, for example, doctor, use
there you
it.
go. You said that. Give me 5. You said it.
Called it.
Yes. Don't worry about Miss, Ms, or Mrs. Just say doctor. That's it.
And you know what? I think the same rule kind of applies for like gender identification. If you're not sure, just ask. What do you like to be called?
Right.
You know, just what are you most comfortable
Yes.
with?
And now we're going with gender identification, which is another little sub thing that we're going to go
absolutely.
under. So me working, in an ambulance as a paramedic, I've seen things through the past 30 years in EMS kind of gravitate toward different things. Now, so everything that we do is on a tablet, electronic tablet. So of course it's on an iPad. So everything's fill in the blank now for our forms.
Yep.
Name, date, address, all that stuff, and date of birth. So you get down to sex.
Used to only be 2 choices.
Yeah, you have a bunch of choices now.
Yeah.
Even on an ambulance for Medicare, Medicaid, insurance
Right.
reasons, you have male, you have female, then you have non-binary.
Interesting.
And I'm going like, what in the world is non-binary? I guess I don't know.
And they might not either, and that's okay. Maybe
Right.
they're figuring it out. You know, it takes
Exactly.
some time.
Exactly.
I like that they're doing that.
I think
All
from
very
now
good
on,
stuff.
I'm going to give them 3 choices when I ask them. If
Yeah.
I have a question looking at them, what do you consider yourself as? I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Well, but I mean, I think it's more weird to not ask the question. You know, it's more weird to have that
Right.
awkwardness and just say, "What do you like?" You know,
Yes.
very simple question. And people, I think, respond very well when you ask them a simple question
Right.
like that. What do you prefer?
I think so too. Right.
You know, because how often are you asked, "What do you like? What do you want?"
That's true. Yeah.
You know, that simple can just kind of, oh, well, yeah, okay, I like this,
Sure.
and then the
And,
problem that you thought you may have may even disappear, and they may like whatever. Who knows? You know,
Yeah,
it's just
sure.
ridiculous.
It establishes more because you need to get rapport with people that you're working
Yeah,
on. So it kind of
absolutely.
gives rapport. Tim, real quick, can you go to Google and just type in non-binary? I want to see what the.
Yeah, I'm interested as well.
So when I go to work tonight, I'll know that better.
I wonder if it's like both or neither or in between.
Kind of, I'll make it a little bit bigger too.
Just not relating to, composed of, or involving just 2 things. So like a mix. Okay. I can totally see that. Well, there's, what is it? The Kinsey scale that's like 1 to 6. You're never fully gay or straight. You always fall in that
Right.
realm. So I feel like it's the same exact thing
Right.
here. You're never nobody's fully female or male, in my opinion, especially
Right.
if you've got testosterone and estrogen in your system. I mean, come on.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Relating to or using a denoting a system of numerical notation that does not have 2 as a base. So yes, it's like it could be anything really.
And it's more of a math thing.
Yeah, that is incredible. What I'm going to do, I think
Interesting.
I'm going to go and send an email to some of my higher ups at work and ask them how they came about the non-binary thing. I think you know what I think it
Yeah.
has to do. I think it has to do with billing. I think it's Medicare, Medicaid.
I think you're right.
Yes.
And how to charge for, because women automatically are higher rates because they're, childbearing years.
It
If they,
all it
okay.
always diverts to
That
money.
makes a lot of sense.
It always degenerates into money, right?
Always follow the money, man.
Yes, yes, it does. Well, I hope everybody out there is a little bit more educated now that you kind of saw.
I know. I
what
definitely learned a little something.
Yes, and like you said, it is a suggestion. These aren't like hard fast rules.
No.
Yeah, just
I think so.
and
Except for the doctor, you want to call doctor, and don't hit on a girl and call her ma'am.
right.
That's pretty much two only rules. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. That's very, very good. So, in other words, the takeaway from tonight is play it safe.
Play it safe. Always play it safe.
That is great. Okay, so I know what I'm going to do when I go out. I'm going to try to be a little bit better on my salutations and everything. So we always have to worry about just Mr. and Sir. I appreciate it when somebody, like even a younger person, calls me Sir.
Oh, yeah.
Like our little intern, Stinson, came in tonight. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Oh, I do that. I love, and my favorite is like gas station attendants, especially. You know, they get so little respect and everything. Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And they
Right.
just appreciate that little bit of respect. You know, it's just it's that little thing you can do to say, hey, we're the same.
Yes.
You know, in that little moment. So
Right. Right.
I think it's great.
And in a day of like de-escalation procedures, we see that a lot with the sheriff's offices getting to all of these gunfights. You know, de-escalation is the way to handle things now.
Absolutely.
And that not only applies to like a traffic stop or a police thing or something, but it like you said, an interaction at the gas station. You got two people that don't know each other. She could be having a bad day. I mean, you're feeling pretty good. Your simple way of just respecting her verbally could put her at ease,
Exactly.
set the tone for the whole rest of the shift.
Well, positivity is contagious, just like negativity.
Yes, it is.
And just like it's just like anything else. It's going to attract. And I feel you always attract more flies with honey.
Right.
You know, so the sweeter you are, you're going to get more.
Yes.
Eventually, the flies will go to the vinegar if there's nothing left. People will go for that attention if there's nothing left.
Yes.
But they want the honey. They want the sweet. They want the good. They want the feel goods.
Yes.
People are not as good at giving the feel goods as they used to be.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
So it's our job to do it.
Yes, that is some very good words of advice. That's it from Kacie Fry. Very good words of advice. I got to go back to you said you're a psychology student and everything. What got you interested in psychology of all things?
Probably my own issues. Like I said, I had depression, anxiety my whole life. A lot of it came out. Something we had kind of talked about, which is what I wanted to talk about today.
Yes.
I was a little bit anorexic in high school as well. And, you know, it really just kind of got the ball rolling for me. And what really sparked this was I shared a post on Facebook, and I've got, you know, a decent number of friends or whatever. But this, I was overwhelmed. It was just a post I made about bullying and how these teachers in, I'm finding it right now, New York, I believe, are painting the walls on bathrooms, in the female bathrooms, with just really positive messages like real girls aren't perfect girls aren't real.
Wow, love it.
Your mistakes don't define you. And it's on USA Today. That's where I found it.
Wow, okay.
And
Yeah.
over 200, let me see what the number is right now.
Yeah.
It was a 213 when I last checked. 214 shares since August 13th. And to me, I mean, I haven't even gotten that many likes for like any sort of anything. And that shares for something like that really made me feel like,
Yes.
wow, like this is like a silent kind of cry
Yeah.
for let's talk about this kind of thing. You know, and you're bombarded with all of these, number one, images in the media, and it is getting better with curvier women and things like that. But even still, friends of mine are using Photoshop and they're beautiful already, and I just don't understand it. You know, it's not a realistic expectation.
Yes.
But what people don't realize about typically with an eating disorder or something like that, it's not just about the way you look. It's about something else is usually going on, and you have no control over anything else. And the only control you have left is what I put in my mouth, as sad as that is.
Yes.
And I remember the moment I became anorexic and I was 15, and I opened my fridge door, was going to get something to eat. And I was so upset and so anxious, and I didn't know what to do. And I closed the door and I said, I don't have to eat you. And the power that I felt was like a drug.
Wow.
And so it quickly took me over. I quickly lost weight, quickly got very ill. Don't remember about 3 months of that time. Mine was a very short, intense spurt. You know, and I really had some body issues. I did not have the best support growing up, let's say.
Right.
Judged a lot from the time I was really young. In the South, you got to be pretty, you got to look good, you got to be thin, you got to be done up all the time.
Yes.
It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure, especially when you're dealing on top of, you know, a changing body and all of these things. And so it really hit home. And essentially because that's where girls go to cry. They go to the bathrooms to cry.
Wow,
you
interesting.
know?
What is the difference between anorexia and bulimia?
Anorexia is whenever you stop eating completely or you limit yourself. I was very limited. I think I was limited to like 500 calories a day, maybe. And I was playing softball for 3 hours. I was crazy, killing myself.
Yeah, wow.
And bulimia is whenever you do eat, but you throw it back up.
Got it. Right.
So
what are the dangers of one over the other? I mean,
anorexia.
If one's worse than the other.
It's really tough. Anorexia is actually one of the most dangerous mental diseases that is out there because it is so very hard to treat. Once the women are so far gone, it's more of a perfection and a control thing, and that's all they have left is their body and what they put into it. So there's clinics all over the country that have hundreds, waiting just to get in. And sometimes they still don't make it and they just waste away. And it's this mentality, and I've been in it, and where you just have this mentality of I can't do anything else right. I don't have anything else, but I can do this. And you hold on to it for dear life.
Let me ask you this. Is it a matter of one, just me looking in the mirror and thinking I'm too fat, or two, the control?
For me, it was the control. Some people, it's different. It can be different for different people, different triggers for different everybody. For me, it was control. Some people, it is a purely physical thing, and they want to see, I can't have that little tiny roll there. I can't have that. They have this idea that it's always, if this, then, if I get here, then I'll be happy. And it's just not realistic, and I wish I was bullied very badly in high school, or not high school, in middle school. And, having that negativity on you all the time and just not having any outlet or any positive things coming at you can really put a kid in a bad place really quickly.
Right.
And I mean, I've dealt with anxiety and depression since then. That was definitely did not cause it, but it, acquired it.
Right,
Acquired
to
it.
sure.
Definitely attributed a little bit to it.
Right.
And like we were talking, even to this day, I still deal with it. Women, the girls that are mean and create cliques and bullies grow up to be women, and they do the same things to other women. And I will never understand this innate hatred women have for each other.
Wow.
I want to support other women. I love other women. I want to be friends with other women, and it's hard to even get that. So, it's an interesting culture, and it starts very young, and I think that's why it's so important to address these types of things now.
Right.
So these messages on the door, when you think you're about to go in to cry and you see this, your mistakes don't define you. Hey, no, they don't. Like that little bit of spark. And these were all teachers that came in over the summer and devoted their time and their money and their artwork and, all volunteer work, which just really, really made it even that much more special, in my opinion.
Yes. And talk a little bit about this, too, about how social media has exacerbated this whole thing.
Oh, my God, it's miserable. I am so glad I did not grow up. I grew up in the world of you had to have a college account to get on Facebook to share your notes with your friends.
Okay.
So that's like my first Facebook picture was 5 years after I actually got on Facebook.
That's amazing.
So I really seen the transition, and I'm certainly glad there's certain pictures that never made it to Facebook. But however, I'm fine with the ones that made it.
Right.
But just this whole idea of all the filtering, and it's amazing to me. I've just really started in this filtering thing, and I had no idea that these people didn't look like this for real. I'm like, they're so beautiful. There's no pimples. They have no wrinkles. They have no this. And I'm like, oh, there's a button and an app for that. Oh, okay. Now I get it. And girls need to realize that. This is not real. Even on the unedited photos, they're always edited. Always something is edited.
That's right.
So be fine with who you are. It doesn't matter. If somebody's going to love you, they're going to love you for who you are. They're going to think you're beautiful no matter what. Yes. And hopefully that person is the person looking back at you with a mirror, but we got to start there first. And
it's a two-pronged approach. I think that social media is screwing people up, especially women.
Absolutely.
Number one is the image, the image. The image is one thing because visuals are everything nowadays.
Everything.
Number two is it's the fake lives people leave on social media. They're not, they don't drive expensive cars, they have nice houses, go on exotic vacations all the time, or this parts of the world. They're average everyday people like you and I. Ramping up what they would like to be.
I look at Facebook Reel as like a highlight reel of people's lives.
That's a good way to
they're going to
put
put the best of the best on there. Nobody's going to put, their worst days.
That adds to depression, I think, a lot of times. It makes people depressed.
Let me tell you, when I was going through my whole deal, I went to intensive outpatient group, and I had a real struggle for about a couple of years ago. I recently had another battle with it. But the best thing I ever did was take Facebook off of my desktop on my or my home screen on my phone. I didn't take
Right.
it all the way off. I didn't delete it. I just
Right.
took it. I didn't realize how the first thing I was going to is Facebook all the
Right.
time. And I
Yes.
sucked in for 30 minutes in the morning. The first 30 minutes, all I'm
Wow.
doing is comparing myself to other people. I was like, this has to
Yes.
stop.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that's good.
So I went to I just made it to where I had to go to the website maybe once a week or so, check on my little stuff, went MIA for a while. Was the best thing I ever did.
Yes. Yes.
I learned to just accept myself for who I was. I wasn't comparing myself. You have no idea how much you compare yourself to other people until you stop doing it.
Yes.
There's no other way to do it. Just stop
That
doing
is so
it.
true. Everybody out there listening to what Casey's saying, because it is so true. It really, really is. Yeah.
And you can't compare yourself to anybody else. Everybody else is different. We all have our different strengths and weaknesses. And in my opinion, from being more open, which is very scary, I've met more wonderful people and had more, great experience coming along
Right.
that way. So
That's great.
I just feel like there's way more reward than risk when it
Yes,
comes to that, I
that's
guess.
exactly right. And it's more than just a mental thing. It's a physical reaction that happens too when you see
Oh,
pictures,
yes.
right? So explain the physical reaction that happens.
I mean, you think immediately if you see somebody and you think, oh, they have the perfect chin. Oh, I hate my chin. Oh, they have the perfect eyes. Oh, I hate my wrinkles. Oh, like everything that you see is going to be, oh, I hate this. I hate that about myself. Because we're egocentric people. We look at something and we
Yes.
think of ourselves. That's just what we do. So, try to look at it as, I'm happy for that person, or look what they did for that today.
Right.
Try to find something nice in there that you can think of that's not about you, because truly it's not about you. 99%
Exactly.
of the things that happen in your day are not about you.
Yes, exactly. That's true. Exactly right.
So,
That's awesome. And the other part about that too is where I was going to is it's like on the sending end, we talk about the receiving end of seeing things, but on the stuff where I'm going to take a picture of the selfie, and get it out there, and I'm expecting likes.
yes.
And
And
so,
did you know there's actually, they've, in the new DSM, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual for Mental Health and Disorders, they've actually created a selfie disorder.
come on.
If you take over one
Wow.
a day, you are considered having part of
Check
this
it out.
disorder.
Wow.
But if you think about it, that's 365 pictures of nothing but your face.
Jeez. Now we
That's a
have,
lot on a phone.
Narcissistic tendencies now. And look at all the narcissists that are coming out now.
Exactly.
Wow. So describe to the people out there what the chemical reaction in your brain when you're expecting.
I honestly don't
like-
know a whole lot about the chemical reaction. I would expect it's similar to a drug, though, because
Yes,
you're
like a
expecting
dopamine
certain.
response.
I would expect it's very similar. You want the Pavlov dog thing. You expect the reward. You get that. I mean, you expect you're trained. You want likes. You're liked by the number of likes you get, the number of hearts you get, the number of laughs you get,
Exactly.
the number of comments you get, how many times your phone dings. Da 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 da
Yes,
da da.
my Lord.
In this fake world that doesn't exist, where everybody thinks that it does, and that's not the real world. The real world
Yes.
is happening right outside your door, when the mailman comes to drop off your mail, when the
yes.
UPS driver drops off your Amazon package, when you go anywhere to do anything.
That's
That
good.
is your real life,
That's
and
exactly right.
it's literally right there. But somehow we have not taught this new generation how to bridge that gap. So
Yes,
it's
that's so
very
true.
interesting.
Yes, it is. It's we were talking about earlier about generations and how we're not too optimistic for the most part about the upcoming generation.
I have to say I was really, really cynical at first, but I've met some that really gave me some hope recently.
Good. Tell us about that, please. I need to hear about this.
I have a wonderful
There
new
is hope.
friend. I won't give out names because they did not give me my permission, but she works for Teach for America. She's from Atlanta. She's down here. I've met
Awesome.
some wonderful people through her. She's 24.
Young girl.
One of my
good.
best friends in school is 22. We never noticed the age difference, and it
Wow,
really
yeah.
just showed, and she never notices it. And it just proves if you're young at
Interesting.
heart, like it doesn't matter. It really,
Yes.
truly doesn't. And there are the younger people out there. We give them a bad rep, but there are younger people out there who really work hard and
Yes.
see the value in hard work, and they do need to be credited because they do deserve it. Unfortunately, they've been grouped in with a lot that don't.
True, right,
So,
right.
and I've been in that group where so it is.
But I
it's a
think
tough
for
place
the
to
most
be
part,
in.
they are the exception rather than the rule. They're out there.
Yeah, I have to say more of the exception than the rule. Unfortunately, I do feel like this generation is they feel a little more entitled than they should. Feel like
Right.
things should be fair. Like, I don't know, growing up, the things my dad taught me were nothing in life is free, and nobody said
Right.
anything was going to be fair.
Yes,
So,
and that's the truth. Right.
it's very contradictory to what I grew up with.
Yes, right.
So it's a little different for me, a little frustrating. But then, you have these people who are, if you have values, and it goes back to anything basic, if you have values, they're going to pull through, and those are going to shine through in the end.
Yes,
So
that's true. That's true.
and it goes all back to parenting and family and all those basic
Yes, it really does.
moral
You're right.
issues.
Yes, it does. So me being a little bit older in age, I'm over 50 right now, 51 to be exact.
Well, congratulations.
So I appreciate it, and I wear it with pride too. I
That's
really
right,
do.
absolutely.
I'm proud of my little gray hair. That's why I keep
That's
it short.
right.
And so, I'm the generation that grew up on cassette tapes and
Mm-hmm.
record players and stuff like that. And so not too long ago, I told my kids, I'm going like, I'm gonna buy a USB record player. We're gonna take all of our records, and they were fascinated. Like you can actually play a record. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
They play.
Right. I know what an MP3 is. But what's a record?
Like it's a thing. It actually moves.
Right.
And
Exactly.
the diamond moves. It's a diamond on there. Yeah.
Yes. Right. It's like it's incredible. So yeah, that's kind of the stuff that the new generation will never even know about.
It's gonna. And you know what? I miss dial tones.
Yes.
I miss dial tones for that exact reason.
Right.
And waiting for it and pushing the beeps and having to ask for the person and having to talk to the dad or the mom or whoever it was.
Yes.
And even that little interaction helped with becoming more of the family unit. Oh, that's Bobby. Oh, he was on the phone or whatever.
Right.
Da, 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 da.
Right. There's so many things growing up that like I said, connects you more with each people in the society. Connects you. Now we're disconnected with electronics and everything, but back then.
We were connected because we had to try to be disconnected, and now we want to be connected, and we're completely disconnected.
That's true. Yes, no, it comes in waves. It really, really does. It really, really does. It's like trends that come back. It's like we miss those trends. Let's bring them back.
Oh my grandmother called it the pendulum. The pendulum will swing. It'll swing back. It'll come back. She always says it's going too far now. It'll come back.
Right. It's true. It's true. That's true. Hopefully the pendulum will keep on rocking back and forth.
I hope so. Well, I mean, if history we've made it however many years now being humans, I'm sure we can still go another couple thousand years and make it.
I think we can too. Well, that is great. So I know that you changed your major recently from psychology and
yes.
What else was psychology? What else? I can't read my writing.
Well, I actually went to so I
Counseling.
graduated USC in experimental psychology, and then I did
experimental psychology. What is that?
Experimental psychology. So that's whenever you actually create the experiments, you make sure all of the factors. You're only making sure your experiment is going to measure what you want it to measure, and all other factors have been excluded for taking into factor. If it's statistically significant, if there are any changes, how to read all the mess.
So there's a textbook for that?
Lots and lots of textbooks, lots of statistics, lots of formulas, lots of things.
So there are careers that are based on this.
Yes, mostly just research though. They're mostly research based. I wanted to do more clinical work. I did some work at the Rape Crisis Center in Baton Rouge. I became a phone counselor for them. One of the best things I ever did. Nice. They are a great organization. They have lots of offices around the local southern Louisiana. There's lots of opportunities to volunteer. Since I'm talking about it, you can. Yes. They have fairs. They've got different events that they promote all the time. You can be a phone volunteer. You can be a volunteer at the hospitals. I've been trained for all of them. They usually only require like 2 nights a month. It's very flexible with your schedule.
Okay. And the website is?
I think it's Star. They changed it.
Oh, yeah, Star.
Yes. Star.
Yeah, Star. Okay. Star. They have an office here in New Roads, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually, the woman who's now the director was actually my volunteer trainer when I was training.
Pull up Star on the internet real quick. So, because I want people that are watching, and we're going to put this in the comments in the description below. We'll put the link for people to check it out, to volunteer. And if you are a victim, you can contact them too,
Absolutely,
right?
call them. They have free counseling services. They can take care of you in any situation. Even if you're a friend of, I've talked to people who are friends of people who, they didn't know what to do, where to go, who to talk to, how to talk to them about it. They needed their own help because they're affected too. Unfortunately, rape is something that affects everyone involved.
Yes, that's the stuff that's reported, right?
That is just reported, which is only estimated about 1/3. And that's a very, very low number.
Wow, just because of the shame that goes with it and the
shame,
stigmatism.
It's getting better. Shame, a lot of times.
That's it, Tim.
A lot of times, if a girl is drugged, she may not even know that it happened or know who did it. So they don't even know who to go after. Wow. The Bachelorette or The Bachelor just had a girl on there. She was gang raped by her frat party. And one of the guys got expelled from the college.
Come on, wow.
That just made it turned my stomach. It was filmed.
Oh my gosh.
They had video proof. This is how hard it is to prove. People don't realize how hard it is. And they say, oh, why don't you just, because you'd have to go through the whole thing twice. And then to be even more, to have your whole life exposed, you're going to end up more damaged than you came out. It's at some point it is what's better for the person, Yes. So this is a great organization. They deal with all of that. Tim. Their number is 855-435-STAR. It is a 24-hour hotline, 7 days a week. You can always get help. Please always call 211 as well if you're ever feeling a little suicidal.
211, really?
That's for suicide. That's suicide prevention. 211 is for suicide prevention. please always reach out to talk to somebody. Always there's somebody there. As someone who's been there, they're happy to do it. We want to.
Right.
It helps us just as much to help you.
Yes. And on Facebook too. I see if they have Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah, they've got Facebook,
Instagram.
Twitter. I follow on Facebook. I see about their events and stuff going on. We're gonna try to get something together with them at some point.
Yes.
But just a great organization all the way around.
That's great.
And great people.
Yes.
And it kind of, it brings it back to all of it, back to that thing we were talking about earlier with the bathroom doors and everything. There's just so much support out there, but there's so little knowledge about it. We focus on all the bad and all the bad. Well, let's help fix it, about schooling, for instance. I'm now in X-ray school. After I had my little issues, I actually found out through a local, or one of my little co-patients, I guess we'll call them, in my little group. She said, you should call Louisiana Vocational Rehab. And I said, what is that? And it's actually an office through the state of Louisiana that will help anybody who's had any disruption in education due to disability, mental state, anything that's gotten in the way. It'll help you go back to school. And once they looked at my education and my grades and everything that had happened, she just said, well, you're going to go test vocationally, see what you're good at, and you get to pick what you want to do. And I just started crying. I said, what do you mean I get to pick what I want to do?
Wow, right.
She said, well, your scores are high enough and we can make the case. You don't have to go back for counseling if you don't want. So just take your test and pick what you want to do. And it was like somebody gave me a whole second chance, and they don't require any commitment. They just want you to go to school. They, make you keep your grades up and things like that.
Yes.
But I have not seen a single bill.
That is incredible. I love it. That is so good, man. What a great opportunity.
Yes, absolutely.
So I have to ask you this, and so you got the X-ray schooling going on, but on the sideline you have your up-and-coming music career. So are those two ever going to intersect or parallel with each other?
They are already not I wouldn't say intersecting, but they're crossing each other a little bit in ways I wouldn't like. I'm already getting the
there's only 24 hours in a day.
Right. I'm already getting the conversations of, well, this is your real career, and I'm thinking, don't call it my real career.
Heard that before, right? But I look it up as a backup.
It's right, so it's like I don't think people quite get where I'm at yet, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. We'll call it my career. Yes, it is my backup.
Yes,
but I mean, I've been going. This is something I've been working at. No matter what it's been, I've been working at it in the background forever. So somebody asked me the other day, so when are you going to stop this music thing? And I said, whenever I stop breathing.
Right. Thank you. That's right.
It's not. It wasn't even a question. Like, I don't care what I'm doing or how I'm doing it, or it's part of me.
Every
now.
Successful artist, film, video, music, has once worked at McDonald's, worked here,
Yeah.
worked there. Eddie Money, remember Eddie Money in the 80s? He was a police dispatcher growing up.
Crazy.
So yeah, everybody has their things.
And who was it? And a lot of people, I get discouraged sometimes about trying a little bit too late, but then I think about who is it? Samuel L. Jackson, first movie role at 35.
That's what I was fixing to say. Yes, he's so it's never too late.
Never too late.
Look at Willie Nelson. He was way up there when he started.
Exactly.
Yes. So he's still going strong.
You only have one life.
Yes.
There's
rock it.
No losing no shoulda, woulda, couldas.
That's right. Yes. No regrets, right?
No
Don't
regrets.
make there be any regrets.
Well, hey, I've never regretted anything I've done, only the things I didn't do.
Wow. Say that again.
I've never regretted anything I've ever done, only the things I didn't do.
Listen to that, y'all. That's great. That is great. Some good advice.
And you may make a mistake, but you will always regret not doing that one thing. Because if you don't know, that's probably the worst regret.
You never would have known.
Never knowing. And I couldn't go forward with my life never knowing I didn't try.
Yes, that's right.
And I can at least, I could die happy tomorrow and saying I tried, and I did a podcast, and I had some music videos, and it was great.
Right. That's so I love that. That's such an inspiration to me too. So it's like, hey, if you fail at something, that means you tried.
Yes.
And if look at the light bulb, how many times it took for that to get up and rolling. I mean, that guy. If Thomas Edison would have got discouraged, we would have no electricity.
Well, I forget what number it was, like 837 or whatever. He said he didn't discover 800. He didn't discover a light bulb. He discovered 837 ways not to make a light bulb.
Not to do it. Right. I love it. I love it. That's great. That is great. So yeah, that's the way it is. And hey, if somebody doesn't, if you don't do your dream, somebody else is going to do your dream for you.
Exactly.
And they'll get the credit, and they'll get all the stuff.
And then you're going to end up sad and alone and cynical and hate being that lady on the TV. Is like, nobody wants to be that person.
Right, exactly.
Nobody likes that person.
Exactly. I'm just amazed at the excuses that people have. So many people out there. 90% of the people you talk to on the street have dreams and visions and things they want to do. Mm-hmm. How many of those people actually put them into action? You know what I'm saying?
It's tough
What's
because
the
it's
first?
hard.
What's the first step? You know what I'm saying? I mean, is there?
I think
an
the
answer to
first
that?
step is admitting to yourself, like, I want this, and really admitting, like, yeah,
Bad enough.
I want it bad enough. And I'm willing to embarrass myself. I'm willing to say whatever. I'm
Wow.
willing to do whatever. I'm willing to take whatever job I have to do to get by. I'm willing to take the criticism. I'm willing to take the heartache.
Yes.
Because it's gonna be there. It's very. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing when I first started out. I held auditions for a band in Baton Rouge, which you
Right.
don't do.
Right.
I didn't know. I knew no one, but I met one person who led me to another, and it's
Yes.
all about people respond to you if you're authentic. So if you're real in you, people respond to that. They don't
Yes.
respond to fakeness. It doesn't.
Yeah, they
who
see that a
does?
mile away.
When you hear a song, it's not like, oh, that's a catchy beat. I like that. It's oh, I feel that.
Right.
That's what it's about. So it's the same thing with everything else.
That is awesome. That is very, very cool. I love that. So inspirational having you over here. Man, this is amazing.
Thank you. I needed this. Oh, I needed
Yes,
this.
this is
today.
great. So I got to segue back into your music and everything. What gives you the inspiration to write songs and sing songs? I mean, what really kind of fills you up? You know?
I have to say, well, Dad's been a big one recently. That grief.
Those are the best stories. Yes.
That sadness is a good one. I mean, it sucks, and my life has not been the funnest. So I do have a more kind of sadder side,
Right.
but that pain, tapping into that pain and how I really felt into that moment and what was, I'm working on my right now. Kind of, I wrote it around the 16 flood, and it's bring on the thunder, bring on the rain. Like bring it on. I feel the storm coming. It's like
Yes.
almost like a panic attack. It's gonna hit, and there's nothing you can do but let it pass and wait and just clean up what's left over.
Yes,
And
that's great.
sometimes you have no control. Sometimes it just is what it is.
Right.
But you have your control over what you can do about it.
Yeah, and those are the things that resonate with pretty much everybody out there. The
Yeah.
heartaches, the real life, the trials and tribulations of living, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's the stuff that connects with people too.
Absolutely.
It's fun to listen to like little fluffy songs every now and then,
Oh, yeah.
but the stuff that really hits home, that's the stuff that people really resonate
Oh
to.
yeah, exactly.
And they go like, "That is me." Let me listen to that
Yes.
again.
Oh, I
Replay it.
knew exactly what he was feeling when he wrote that.
Yes.
Ooh, oh, I know. I've been there on the bathroom floor crying my eyes out.
Yes.
Ugly
Right.
crying really
Right.
hard to my cat.
Right, exactly. Yes, and that's the real stuff that people are looking for these days. Not the formulaic pop music that we listen to all the time. The candy stuff I like to talk about. And
We
everything.
had enough of that. You know what I
right.
mean? It was all
Right.
mass produced back then. We had enough of that.
Yes, we
like
did.
let's get past the Barbie pre-produced stuff and get back to, individuals and makes everybody unique. Because
Yes.
if everybody is the same, this would be a really boring place.
Yes, it would be. And so in that aspect, I'm hoping the pendulum, like you said, comes back
Yes.
to where we need to be, and maybe stays there for a little while.
I hope so.
That would be very good. So that's the way I am too about like my films and stuff and everything. It's from the heart. It's from experiences. It's from my life observations.
Oh, I can tell the detail you put in there. You can feel the realness in it for
Yes.
sure.
And the way I look at it is like, you can go with the Hollywood formula,
Mm-hmm.
the crashing, all the violence and sex and everything. That's easy stuff there.
Yeah.
It's like opening up a liquor store in the corner. They're gonna buy.
It's gonna
the
get
liquor.
traffic. You're gonna get it.
Right, but that's the easy way out. The hard stuff is to be, like you said, vulnerable, to be open. Say, hey, these are the
Very.
things I experienced. These are the failures in my life. So I'm sharing them with you.
Right.
So maybe that you can either resonate with them or not make the same failures that I made.
Or at least if you
So-
are, know that, hey, you're not alone. At the
yes.
very least, you're not alone, and I'm okay, and you're gonna be okay.
Yes.
This
That's right.
this too shall pass.
Yes, it always does. It really does. It always passes. That's what I find to be the best thing as far as my films and videos goes. And
Yeah.
I find out that I get a very good response. Like, it's like a lot of my messages are universal. A lot of your stuff is universal too. It can be applied to anybody. So
Absolutely.
and that's the thing that resonates. Well, that sounds great. I know Timmy said we're bumping up against the hour. How much more minutes we got left, Tim? Huh? 3 more
Oh,
minutes?
3.
Okay.
Goodness, that flew by.
I know. Golly, an hour already. Right, exactly. Well, yeah, so let's talk a little bit about what people can expect on our next show tomorrow.
All right, so tomorrow Zachary Lee is going to be here.
Yes.
His name's Zachary Hartman, but he does go by Zachary Lee.
Zachary Lee.
Zachary Lee on YouTube. He's my music partner. As we're entering in this, we've entered into a 6 months to a year contract, if you will, with each other. my business boyfriend.
Yeah, your work husband.
It's like my work husband. My work husband. So we're gonna be making some videos. We're gonna try to get one cover out with a video of something new, really new, but have like our own little twist on it.
Yeah.
Right now we have a cover of "Best Part of Me" in the Yubba. We have "Old Town Road," an acoustic version, and we're going to shortly film the video for the rock version, and that's gonna be that's what we're really, really excited about. That's where our art gets our juices flowing.
Yes.
So we're really excited about that one.
That's gonna be great.
And in the meantime, we're going to be doing acoustic shows. We are open for bookings. Please visit either my page, Miss Kacie Fry on Facebook, or Zach Hartman on Facebook. You can contact us there to get information on booking us.
Excellent.
Let's see. You can reach me also, Miss Kacie Fry. That's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter.
Wow.
So I can try to keep it all the same and easy.
Yes, that's great. Yeah, just type in Miss Kacie
Fry. That's MissKaciefry.
Right, and the link will be down in the description below, of course, and everything. And like and share.
Please
Casey's
do, absolutely.
videos. Get those videos out there. We want to have a lot of subscribers. We want to see that channel monetized as you start making some, and that'll make you make even more and better videos in the future too.
Oh, we're trying.
Yes.
Zach's want to talk to you about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Oh yeah, we're gonna do some cool stuff with Zach coming up for sure too. So tomorrow, so you're gonna prepare something for us to
We're
sing?
gonna try.
We're
gonna try to get a little something special prepared tonight or tomorrow. We'll see if there's anything you kind of want. If y'all have any suggestions, please post it to the link on YouTube. We'd be happy to take it in consideration.
Yes.
We're gonna try to have it ready for tomorrow. We're going to be doing the show around 1, I believe.
1
Is that right?
tomorrow,
Okay, 1 o'clock tomorrow. So we'll be doing it at 1 o'clock, and we'll have something ready for you.
Yes.
We'll have something ready.
It's going to be very, very good. I can promise you that. You won't be disappointed. Get your popcorn or whatever, or sit back and relax. It's going to be really cool.
Yes.
All right, so is there anything else you want to cover before we leave? Anything we missed?
I think that is it. Just check us out again, and thank you so much for your time, and I hope that we reach somebody and help somebody in a good way tonight, and just have a wonderful weekend, and be kind and love each other.
Yep, and I think we did for sure, definitely. Well, okay, sounds great. So I'm going to shut her down right here, but we got to plug one more time, PointCoupieReporter.com and the Point Coupie banner. Go pick those papers and check the website out and find out all kind of cool information about Point Coupie Parish as we cross promote each other and everything. And remembering Datha Bure, who could not be here tonight. She's under the weather. We're praying for her to get well soon. And for Datha Bure and for Miss Kacie Fry, I'm David K. Gyro. This has been the Dave K. Show, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great night.
Thank you.